Obviously, you know today is Monday, July 2025, correct?
Yes, it is.
So being that it's 2025 and we did redistricting in 2021, correct?
Yes, and also in 2023.
2023, and I think 2000, maybe 2003. Are we sure we did congressional redistricting? I think it was 2003. It may have been.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said we did it in 2021.
Right.
And then I said we also did redistricting again in 2023.
Is it normal for us to do mid-decennial redistricting? Is that a normal practice?
I guess it's what you would call, in someone's own eyes, what's normal or not. Again, I think you referred to, we did congressional redistricting in 2003. Again, in 2023, we did House, Senate, and congressional, and I think State Board of Education as well.
I think in 2003 it was just congressional. I think that was in Tom.
2003 was just congressional. 2023 we did again all that we did in 2021.
Did you, this last session, the regular session, this is a first called special session, did you file a redistricting bill?
I did not.
Okay. You did not file one during the redistricting session, during the regular session, but here we are a month after the session ended. So at what point did you determine that we should have new congressional maps needed to be redrawn?
Well, I haven't made that determination. What we're on here today is, as you know, the governor has put congressional redistricting on the call for the special session.
Correct.
And so the resolution before us today is to empower the lieutenant governor as president of the Senate,
right,
to create a redistricting committee and then to establish procedures and rules for that committee to operate under.
Understood. I guess my question is, if it's 2025, mid-decennial, you voted for the 2023 maps, right? The congressional maps?
I did.
You did. So you felt those maps were appropriate, correct?
I did.
Okay, so then now I'm just trying to figure out why the governor put this redistricting call on this special session in 2025 when I didn't hear anything about it during the regular session. I'm just trying to understand. Isn't it true that the governor's received a letter from the Department of Justice asking for this?
I have seen a letter that was addressed dually to the Attorney General and the Lieutenant Governor.
Let's look at the letter. So the letter was dated July 7th, and you're right, it's addressed to the Honorable Gregory Abbott and the Honorable Ken Paxton. And in the letter, it says, I think if you've seen the letter, you recognize that it addresses 1, 2, 3, 4 districts currently constitute unconstitutional coalition districts. What is a coalition district?
Respectfully, and it's a very valid question, but with respect, we'll have a lot of time to talk about any particular bill, any particular proposed map, any particular amendments and the law and all of those at the upcoming hearings. Today, all we're doing is addressing this particular resolution, and if I could ask that we stick to that topic. Okay,
the resolution at hand, but the resolution is for us to have a congressional redistricting committee appointed, is that correct? And I'm just trying to get to the reason why we need it, and that's the confusion. So many of my constituents have asked me these questions, and I'm representing my constituents asking the questions they're asking.
Again, I think those are very legitimate questions for you to ask. I just think that the proper time for us to discuss those, not just me, but as the redistricting committee and as the Senate as a whole, will be when we get into the hearings. Traditionally, 2023 and 2021, as far back as you want to go, usually in those early hearings, the information gathering hearings, different groups come in and talk about redistricting law, the history of redistricting in Texas, and they express their needs and thoughts and concerns and wishes. And so, it'll be a great time to get to all that then. All we're doing here today is trying to pass a resolution to allow the Lieutenant Governor to set up the committee, and then some rules for that committee to operate under.
I respect the fact that this is the beginning of the process. I think the reality for me, and I understand the position you're in, Senator King, but the position that I'm in is that as being a senator that represents, as a member of the minority party, I'm trying to take every opportunity to show my constituents that I am expressing and representing them by expressing the same frustrations and the same concerns that they share. And so I appreciate the fact that you just want to get the resolution passed, but I have to ask the questions that the same, just like you've been elected by 1 million people that expect you to represent them, I have been elected by 1 million people in my district that expect me to do my job. So if you just indulge me, I only have a couple of more questions. My understanding, and I guess this is the question that I have, that, and does the resolution state how amendments will be entertained? Does the resolution speak to that?
Yes, so essentially, we'll start off with information gathering hearings, which has been the tradition of the Senate in past years. And if and when a bill is filed proposing a map, then we would convene a hearing. Would be a hearing in the Capitol, and the process for considering that bill and for amendments and for votes would be just like it is under the current rules for any other bill that comes before any procedural committee.
Does the resolution speak specifically to how amendments, what hurdles they have to achieve? Because my understanding is that in order for amendments to be entertained, that they have to, let me see what I have here, they have to indicate population, voter data, incumbent locations for the district affected by the amendment, and that they have to have a report, a standard report by the Texas Legislative Council. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, and that's been included in the past, and the reason for that is really for the benefit of all the members, whether they're on the committee or on the floor, that there'll be complete and full information with what essentially is a floor packet, so everyone understands what's in the map. In other words, you're not just getting, as you've seen before, something that looks like a legal description on a deed of just a long list of meets and bounds and that type of thing, but you're actually getting something that's very clear, easy to understand. You'll see the map. You'll have a summary of exactly what it does. And again, this is exactly the process that was used in 2023 and in 2021.
So in determining, when you include it here, it says in your population, I'm assuming that also means that it's including the racial makeup of the population in the districts. Is that correct?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I know that it includes information as to the map and to the population, because as you know, unlike House and Senate maps where you're allowed some deviation, under congressional maps, it has to be precise. There's very, very little deviation.
Understood. But I guess the reason I ask is because the DOJ's letter states that it feels that there are unconstitutional districts that are, they want the state of Texas to rectify race-based considerations from these. So if you don't have the race of the population, how do you address the concerns of the Department of Justice?
So again, these are probably better questions to ask in a hearing on a particular map, but I would, as far as the DOJ letter, I have read it. I do not have any knowledge of the facts they allege to be behind that conclusion or that suggestion. I would just refer you to the response by the Office of the Attorney General, the trial group that has handled the El Paso litigation that's ongoing, and refer you to their response. And if you don't have that, we can certainly provide a link to it.
Thank you. My last question. Is it your belief that districts in which Black and Latino voters constitute a majority of the voters, are they ineligible for inclusion in the final pass map? Do you think that they would be ineligible?
So again, I think today is not the day to discuss the legalities of a map, how redistricting should be done. There'll be a later time for that. My intent is to look at everything from a race-blind perspective, just as Senator Huffman did when she chaired the committee in 2023 and 2021.
Correct, but the letter from the Department of Justice says that they need to rectify the racial makeup of these districts, the racial-based considerations. So then if you use race-blind objectives or considerations, how do you rectify that?
Well, I'm not sure there's anything to rectify to begin with, but I haven't talked with anybody at the DOJ about the letter. The extent that of my knowledge in it is probably just like yours. I've read the letter, and then which I was very surprised to see. I read the letter, and then I also read the response by the Texas Office of Attorney General that they filed with the court.
Appreciate you.
Regarding the letter.
Yeah, it will, this is the last question. When people are testifying, when people are having at the hearings, will they be able to see potential proposed maps, or are they just going to be asked to testify in general terms?
So the past practice has been to have a portal, and we've already reopened the old redistricting portal on the Texas Senate website, and that allows anyone, anywhere, I guess, certainly anyone in the state of Texas, to look at any map, to make comments on any map. They can even offer their own map or their own amendment proposals. Those will be made available certainly to all the committee members as they are received, and then will be available to the full Senate at any time they wish to see those as well. So I will also assure you that my intent is for all the committee hearings, whether they be information gathering or on a specific bill, that they be very transparent, that everyone have the opportunity to testify that wants to, and basically that everybody gets treated the way I want to be treated. I want everybody to be treated well, and I'll do my best to allow that, and I believe all the members of the Senate will try to do that.
You have a long history of being very respectful and of everyone, whether people agree with you or not, and I know that you will run a committee that's fair. In doing so, will you consider the number of people who are opposed to the redistricting as opposed to those who are in favor of the redistricting? Because I haven't had one person call me and ask me to take this up or to support congressional redistricting in 2025. And so I'm just wondering if 99% of the voters come out and say, we don't feel this is right, we shouldn't be drawing maps to select our politicians, or the politicians to select their voters, that the congressional districts are just fine the way they are, would you be inclined to drop the redistricting effort?
Would you repeat the last? Would I be inclined to
stop the redistricting effort if no one supports this redrawing of these maps?
I'm not sure it's in my authority to stop or begin
That's
redistricting. It was put on the call by the governor, and we have a constitutional duty to respond to everything that's on the call. I'll just tell you that we're a representative form of government. I know we all try to follow our constituents' wishes to the greatest point we can. We come down here and we listen, we study, we research, and I have a feeling at the end of the day, every senator on the floor, and I know everyone on the committee, I'm sure, will vote the way they believe their district wants them to vote.
Senator King, as always, it's a pleasure to speak with you, to exchange ideas and thoughts. And while I disagree with the direction we're going, I appreciate your time and answering my questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.